Terry Dillon from TD Solutions. I'm meeting with Stuart Lingham, who's on the board of Corowa Rutherglen Football Netball Club. And welcome to you, Stuart. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, thanks for that.
And you've, how long have you been on the board there, Stuart, at Corowa? And
Only this year. So one of the first things that I was introduced to was Terry Dillon Solutions, who came along to do a workshop with us. That was pre-COVID, so we actually had Terry in person, and it was a very interesting 3-hour session.
Yeah. So tell me, so since then, just because I know you've been pretty active and you've been sitting in webinars, and just tell me the things, and I've got a list of things, because you sent me an email this morning which sort of sparked my interest in maybe doing a short little chat with you. So you've mentioned here you've activated Tidy HQ. Can you just explain about that and what you've done there?
Yeah, Tidy HQ is a database system that brings everything together, your memberships, your sponsorships, and it's all in one place. It's computerized, so you haven't got a situation where individuals within the club have got it on a spreadsheet at home, and things aren't all coordinated. So it brings it all together and allows anyone on the board to access that information.
And it's stored in the cloud, isn't it? So
stored in the cloud, you can.
When your time comes, it's going to be stored in the cloud, and it's in the one centralized spot.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what have you done with your structure? You go.
Just on Tidy HQ. The other thing that we've done is to use it to set our agendas and to keep minutes of our meetings. So once again, there's not bits of paper floating around the club. It's all there for when we need to look at something or check what task we've got to do. It's, again, centralised and
good
available.
Stuff. Now, in terms of you've spent a fair bit of time on your structure, and you're sort of reconfigured it, and what are your plans for that, and what have you changed, do you think?
One of the key things that came out of your strategic plan for us was that our organisational structure badly needed work. So we've set about that as one of our priorities to get that right. We've reconfigured it. We've developed it according to what our club needs and where we're at. We've started to put names against the jobs that are currently being done, and that's helping us to identify the tasks that haven't got anybody responsible for them. So we're now looking at how we fill in those gaps and prioritising which ones need to be filled now and which ones we can do a little later.
Terrific. Now, you've been in sport you've been involved with sport, and you're the chair of a junior football competition in the region.
We are. I am, yes.
So in the last 4 months, in terms of your webinars and our workshops, how's your knowledge base? How's that changed?
It's just brought together a whole lot of different things that I've sort of had dealings with in the past, but it's put a structure around it and a process as to how you achieve it. So it's just, I think someone at our workshop described our club as like a Rubik's Cube, where we had all the colours, but we needed to line them up, and that's what it's allowing us to do.
So in terms of how have you found the webinars itself post the workshop? We did a sponsorship. I think you said on the sponsorship one, on a membership on Monday night.
Yeah, we've been pretty consistent. A couple of us have been involved, and we learn something new every time. Yeah, so they're just great. They reinforce those points. There's different things that you introduce because you're updating your information. So something to learn, and yeah. It's just
terrific. And what about how's your revenue model? I just know I've just sent you something through about our sponsorship calculator, but have you put into place a couple of initiatives that we proposed at the workshop?
We have, and the biggest one was the lotto. Now, we've called ours Ripperoo Lotto. Right. We've sold 200 tickets at people are paying $5 a week to be part of that, or $260 up front, which some have chosen to do. So we've had 3 draws now, and it's proving very popular with people in the club. So we expect out of that to make around about $29,000 for the year. And the great thing about that is it's weekly, the fact that there's no football hasn't impacted on it. It's a regular income for the club for the next, well, we haven't set a time limit on it.
So you're doing a live draw, Stuart, or what are you doing? Are you doing posting it on Facebook?
We post it on Facebook at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. We do it a couple of hours beforehand. So
there you go. So actually, just another little tip. Some of our other clubs are going around to their sponsors and doing the draw at the front of their sponsors, which I think is not a bad idea. You know, it's
interesting you say that, because this Friday night we're going down to our local Sports Power in Corowa, and
how good's that?
Draw from there. So yeah, we have got plans to involve more our sponsors, and a way of connecting with them.
So we're due to do I think we did your session on the 4th of March. So probably about the 4th of September, we'll redo your health check. I think you'll be interested to see where that'll take you, because
I think we'll all be interested to see what how we've assessed ourselves in the last 6 months, because a fair bit's happened. So I expect our results will be starting to show that, we're doing some work in various areas and making progress.
So do you think this downtime will allow the club to build some foundations for next year in terms of building a bit of a nest egg as well, in terms of,
Very much so, yes. We don't want to be sucked into putting our feet up and thinking, oh, well, we don't need to meet again until next January because there's no football, and January's upon us and we haven't got stuff organised. So it's a golden opportunity to consolidate all these things and be really well prepared for 2021.
So in terms of your experience with contacting me or TDS or the webinars and the workshops, how would you, if other clubs are thinking about doing something like this, what would your advice be?
100%, get on board. And I'm not being paid for this either to say this, but Terry's been fantastic. Anytime you contact him, either by email or phone, he's ready to have a chat. He's very generous with his time, and it just works. Yeah.
There is anyone who sits in my sessions always talk about there's a formula to running a club. If you keep doing the same old, you're going to end up with the same result. And we do shake things up a bit. I know the workshop we did at Corowa was pretty confronting. Is that fair, Stuart?
It was.
And
but the good thing about that was that people in the club were honest enough to say, yep, we have to change things.
Yeah.
And they've got on board straight away, and nobody's ever said, oh, look, maybe this is not the best solution for us to go with TDS. They listen, we talk about things, and we're making progress, and it's going to be good.
Typically I find, and we'll wind it up now, but some people think that they have enough business brains around the table to pull this together themselves, but this is a real expertise in terms of sport. And binding it all together, and it, as you said, we've had enormous amount of success. But you can lead a horse to water. Can you make them drink it? And there's no doubt Corowa is one of those clubs they're soaking it up, and they want to continue to raise the bar. And it's been great to work with you, Stewie. And your committee. And I see Craig dialed into another webinar during the week as well. I saw him. He's been in most webinars, I reckon, Craig.
Yes. Craig and I are both fairly keen participants in the whole thing. Yeah. It's almost like regular TV viewing on Monday night to sit in on your webinars.
Well, you will see we're just about to launch a 13-part webinar series starting. So I've just put that on my Facebook last night. So that starts in September 1. But we've still got another 4-part of this series. So thanks for your time, Stewie, and much appreciated.
Thank you for what you're doing for us. It's much appreciated, and we'll be in touch to let you know how we're going.
Awesome, mate. Good.